This is the Literary License Podcast with your hosts, Vickie Rae, John Wilson, and Keith Chawgo. Discussing book to screen and everything in between. Coming at you from the UK and USA.
They keep it real.
Amazon. Oops, wrong Amazon. Although we both contain an array of diversity, the rainforest with all of its animals and us with all of our products, come check us over today and find all the products you need quickly and efficiently. And buy it with one click. And now you can even use us to donate to your favorite charities using Amazon Smile. Amazon Smile is worth your while. Come check us out today.
Let's roll, bud.
In this neighborhood is a house where souls never rest. You're invited to share their secrets.
I've been waiting for you boys.
You're invited to share their tales.
Unless, of course, you're scared.
Tales of madness. Of revenge.
The dolls don't want you there. They want reparation.
Of horror.
He thinks he needs to kill the monster.
Now, your most terrifying nightmare and your most frightening reality are about to meet on the streets.
And this is a trip, homie. I don't need nothing from no house of dead folks, okay?
Death, it comes with many strange packages.
The producer of Menace to Society and executive producer Spike Lee will take you to the outer limits of the inner city.
Welcome to hell!
Tales from the hood. Chew. Or be chewed.
Hey, man, I don't need to be hearing this, man.
Written and produced by Darren Scott. Written and directed by Rusty Kunda.
Well, my first choice is Horror Noir, which is basically the documentary that's based on Shudder about Black history and horror films. And what's quite interesting about this is you start hearing about like what happens to blacks in the horror films, and a bunch of actors discuss their tropes and stuff like that, and it takes us all the way up to Get Out and the new film by Jordan Peele called Us, which is going to be released later this year. But it's quite interesting. It's a history through Black people in horror films, and what's really, really good about it is that you see a lot of your favorite Black actors from like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and also Tony Todd from Candyman and stuff like this, and they do make an appearance in this, and they talk about black horror films and stuff like this. And it does cover everything from like the 70s schlocky stuff from Blackula and Blackenstein, and goes all the way up to today.
I know. I like Blackula. It was like, I watched it and I just couldn't anymore. I watched it once and that was it, because I mean, it was just something else. You gotta watch it though. You have to at least experience it.
Well, it was any of those black exploitation films that came out in the 70s. I mean, Cleopatra Jones and Shaft, and there was a whole series.
Like, I'm gonna get you, sucker.
But it's very, very interesting. Okay, there's a lot of virtual signaling going on in this, to a point where I agree with some of it, but I don't agree with a lot of it. But it is interesting to see like the history behind everything, and to see some clips. And I actually, because of these clips, I actually made a note of some of the films that they talk about that I'm now going to go watch, because it's like, oh, I've heard about that one. Oh, I
saw that. I was going to watch it. It's on over here on our Shudder over here in the States. So I'm going to have to watch it because it did look interesting. I just kind of bypassed it though.
It is very interesting. It's an hour and a half, and it said before, some of it I agree with, some of it I don't agree with. It might be because, as a white Caucasian guy with privilege, sometimes it's kind of hard for me to swallow some things, because I don't quite understand it, because I always think that, for me personally, I don't understand. I know that racism does occur, don't get me wrong, but I don't. Right. I do think the problems in the world have nothing to do with race. I think it's more social economic. I think I think that if you're poor, it doesn't matter what race you're part of. You're gonna face the same problems together.
You will.
And I don't believe in raising one people up and push other people down.
No.
And fortunately, with this film, there's not too much of that going on with this documentary, but there is a little bit going on. But saying that, though, it's highly recommended. I highly recommend it.
I'll have to watch that one.
Okay, Bradley, tell the class about your holidays.
Yeah, it was really good. My dad built us a new kitchen. It's got wooden bench tops and some stupid self-closing drawers. There was a dishwasher that was a real and even a breakfast bar. Mum thought Dad was a massive...
Get a kitchen installed without teaching your kids new words. Visit ikea.com.au. We can plan, deliver and install the whole thing for you.
We've always loved horror. It's just that horror hasn't always loved us.
Black people play a particular role in horror films.
First, we weren't in it. We were played by white people.
Yeah.
We went from maids to pimps and hoes.
If there was somebody black, they would be the first to die.
Black films hold a mirror up to society, but at the same time give an audience an escape.
The name is Blackula.
One fellow said to me, you were directing before it was legal.
You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Yes, that's history.
We've shifted from being the focal point of the fear to being the heroes.
This would be unheard of 25 years ago.
If we can use what we've experienced, we can tell stories that people have never seen before.
So, Vickie, what's your second film?
My second film was a Korean movie called I Saw the Devil. It's a violent and oddly enough accomplished tale of murder and revenge. This is like the ultimate revenge movie I've ever seen. It's like massive revenge. And Master Kim Ji-woon directed it. He did also The Good, the Bad, the Weird, and A Tale of Two Sisters.
Oh, A Tale of Two Sisters I've seen.
Yeah, and it's old boys, Choi Mi. I can't say these names. I'm going to butcher the Korean language and people are going to hate me. But he's going after this dangerous psychopath who just kills for pleasure, and he's an embodiment of pure evil, this guy. And he commits to horrifying, senselessly cruel serial murders on defenseless women, and they kill them and they eat them. You know, basically is what comes out of it in the second. But he rapes them before he kills them because he's into pleasure and pain. This guy is like a total fucking psycho. And I didn't think I'd like it because it is subtitled. I hate reading because I want to watch the movie at the same time. But It's a subtitled movie, and it's like 143 minutes long. But I mean, it is like the ultimate. You know, this guy's mad because he kills his pregnant, his girl, wife, whatever, and he dismembers them and throws parts all over the place. I mean, it's just bad. And his buddies towards the end of the movie, you find out that they're also cannibalizing. But I mean, it's one of the most violent movies I've ever seen. Leave it to the Koreans. But I mean, as far as revenge, I mean, I couldn't stop watching it. It's just like, holy shit. And the cinematography was really good. I mean, it was something I've never seen before. Nothing out of Hollywood has ever come out like this. It is so worth watching if you're into revenge films, because this guy is like a special Korean agent. You know, he's like the James Bond, you know, extraordinaire. And I mean, he knows how to kill people in 20 different ways, and he just fucks these guys up. I mean, it's just really good. You have to watch it.
I should just say almost all the Korean films I watch,
they're not bad.
They're really good. They're really interesting, but they're normally like a slow burn, and then they like,
right.
And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, someone hits the gas, and then they start going 100 miles per hour. But their films,
this wasn't at all a slow burn. This just starts right off. You know, stranded beautiful girl. You know, psycho comes and gets her. You know, I mean, he's such a bastard too. He's just awful. One of the most heinous villains I've ever seen. It is so worth it. But I mean, he makes him suffer throughout the movie. He fucks him up but doesn't kill him, and then waits to catch him again to fuck him up some more, and he still doesn't kill him. You know, and I'm not going to give away the end, but I mean, the end is just great. It's just, he just fucks with this guy so bad. I mean, you got to watch it. You really do. I Saw the Devil. Definitely worth it.
Hello?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I have a bunch of favorite movies. I watch them all on Shudder.com for only $4.99 a month.
That's a scary low price.
But if I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be Scream.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the only streaming service that lets me watch hundreds of horror movies on demand.
I'll be right back.
Hello? Hello? Hello, are you gonna subscribe? Hello?
Go to Shudder.com to subscribe, if you dare.
Well, my second film is another documentary. For some reason, I was really into
You're in the documentary mode this month.
I went to documentary mode. And I did Birth of the Living Dead, which is a fantastic film about the making of Night of the Living Dead by George Romero. You know, the first, real zombie film that actually put everyone on its edge. And it had, interviews from George Romero, film critics like Elvis Mitchell, journalists, Larry Fessenden, who's an actor, producer, and director. Gail Ann Hurd's interviewed on it, who you know her from Terminator. She's a producer of Terminator films and Aliens and films like that. And it had some of the actors in it, but it also had an interview with a Bronx school teacher who uses an aid during his lessons and people who saw it on this first release. And it's really well done. It talks about the making of it, how they put it together, but it goes a bit more. It talks about like what it means to have this film in our psyche today and how it made everyone feel. And it also, ties in with the horror noir that I covered, my first choice, about how it was to have a black man live, and there was not the social injustices that were going on at that time, and he was like an equal. It wasn't like he was a black man.
Well, the black man in was it Night of the Living Dead? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the hero basically throughout the whole movie, because all the white people were stupid and shit, didn't know what to do, and he's the only one that was militant enough to try to keep everybody safe and on board.
And it showed like a commentary on how important this film really is to us today, and how basically it changed the form of cinema as we know it. And it also changed the form of horror films. Because of this, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we got, Friday the 13th and Halloween and
Walking Dead, all of them.
Dead. I mean, it started a whole thing. And, today, I mean, it's one of these Hollywood classics. I mean, it's not a Hollywood film, it's an independent film, but it is a film classic. And to see the people giving their love after all these years. I mean, Night of the Living Dead came out in, God, what was it, the 60s?
Yeah, late 60s.
Late 60s, 68, 67, 68. And it's still with us. And, it's one of those films that you watch it today and it still shocks you. I mean, if you are going to watch it today, keep away from the colorized version because it's pretty bad.
I haven't seen. I didn't even know they did a colorized version.
No, they did, and it says, I don't know. It's a bit like
takes away from it, maybe.
Well, it's like people painting it, and they decide to paint the zombies as green, so it's kind of like, it's just, and the gore and everything like that. It's more effective as a black and white film, so you don't need to color everything, So
no,
but. Yeah, no, I mean, it's fantastic. And, they really go into the character of Ben and, and what it meant to a whole generation of black people, to see Ben. They would watch this film and, see what happened to Ben, to Dwayne, played by Dwayne Jones, and how it actually set up a lot of people in their careers and basically made people interested in film again. So Birth of the Living Dead, it's one of those documentaries I do kind of, was kind of hooing and hawing about it, but whether to watch it, and I did watch it, and I was glued to my seat. I was really entertained by it. So they did a really good job with it.
Good deal of sort of anger. I think mostly that the 60s didn't work.
There was a sense of chaos and sense of tension, which means things were going to change.
So I invented these characters.
Persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
That's Romero speaking from the times about a bleakness that the culture was suffering.
And we just wanted to make as ballsy a horror film as we could make.
I don't think audiences were ready for Night of the Living Dead, and I think that's why they were drawn to it.
The sheer excitement of seeing a movie like that.
It scared me to death.
It felt like this generational shift in filmmaking.
And at first, people had no faith that we could actually make a movie. They were able to say, it looks like a movie. And we said, that's what we're trying to tell you. One of these days, it's going to grow up to be a movie.
It was this tiny little movie in Pittsburgh. It seemed to have no chance. And it, changed the world.
slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
So, Vicki, what's your third choice?
Well, my third choice was kind of like a sleeper flick. A lot of people either, I don't read the reviews so much on Shudder. You know how everybody releases reviews, this sucked, that sucked, or I loved it, or this fucking really blew. I mean, people are pretty, you know, they really give their opinion on the Shudder reviews. But it was called Don't Leave Home Alone.
Okay.
And it was about an artist who's unveiling, she has a new sculptural exhibit on Irish urban legends. And her name's Melanie Thomas. She's contacted by Father Alistair Burke. He's a reclusive Irish priest who, legend has it, once painted the portrait of a young girl. And she's in front of the Blessed Mother and, like, you know, the Grotto of Lourdes kind of thing, who later disappeared on the very day her image vanished from the painting. Now she's summoned by Burke and his cohort to the Irish countryside for a special art commission. Melanie eagerly accepts the offer, never stopping to consider that some urban legends might be true. Being praised as Get Out with Catholic Guilt in the Irish countryside, Don't Leave Home Alone proves that not all mysteries should be solved. And you're talking about slow burn and stuff, but you knew this one was kind of, you kind of knew what was going on, because anytime this guy, they commissioned this priest and kept him captive because he was, I don't even know where this kind of sign of, you know, they look like English or French aristocracy with the wigs on and, you know, everything. And they're paying this crazy old lady to keep this priest here, because every time they pay him to watch whoever he paints disappear. And this artist finds herself in this like awful, you know, roller coaster merry-go-round thing of, you know, where finally they paint her. And this priest, not to give away the end, you know, he wants to figure out how to get some of these people back, because they've been doing this for years and years and years and years. And where these people go is like no man's land, but you have to watch it. It's mystery, it's suspenseful. It came out in 2018. I mean, you might not like it, but if you're kind of like into urban legends and you want to see something that's a little, it's kind of tastefully done. It's got some cool architecture in it, and you know, it's not like fast and elaborate like The Exorcist, but I found I didn't want to stop watching because I really wanted to see what happened to all these people that kept disappearing and what was going to happen to this priest and this lady. But it was very interesting, and I would suggest it.
I actually saw that. I'll actually watch that, because it said it was set in Ireland. I was like, but now I'll watch it because you recommended it. I was like, oh,
it wasn't bad. Like I said, it wasn't like fast-paced, massive action, but it was really kind of a cool movie that you wanted to see what happened. So if it keeps my interest and I don't get up to, you know, go make a grilled cheese sandwich or something or grab a beer or whatever I'm doing that day, then if it keeps my interest, then it's worth it. Because, I mean, really, I mean, if I'm really bored, I won't finish watching something. I just will not do that, because sometimes you just can't get your life back.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch something, it's like, wow, why did I just watch that?
Yeah. I have that problem a lot lately with some things. Like, I'm not going to get my hour and a half. I could have done something else.
Yep.
So.
Amazon is here to make your life easier. By just the tap of a button, you can turn the camera on your phone to your own personal shopping list. Introducing Flow. Just tap the camera icon onto the search bar, and you can find whatever it is you're looking for, right on Amazon. Faster than scanning a barcode and typing the name of your item into the search engine. Besides, searching with words is so 2012. Save time and money. Amazon, where shopping meets effortless.
Is this Melanie Thomas?
Yeah, this is she.
Father Burke would like to fly you to Ireland to create an original sculpture while you're here.
Think of this trip as both a holiday and a job. Here she is. Hi, Father Burke.
Call me Alistair.
The house has been here for nearly 300 years. You might hear some strange things. Don't pay any attention to it.
About the commission, is there a particular piece I'm supposed to make?
There is. We have a lovely grotto in the wood near the house. Father Burke thinks that would make for a very successful sale.
The other day when I first saw the grotto, I had this feeling I can't explain it.
You did obey Father Burke's request not to tell anyone about your visit.
No one knows I'm here.
Contrary to public opinion, Ireland is not overflowing with ghosts.
I really think I need to go home.
If you truly want to depart today, we are certainly not going to shackle you. You are here for a reason, my dear.
My next film is Livid, or in French, Livide. But it's a 2011 French supernatural horror film. It's written and directed by Julien Maury and Alexandre Bastillo. It is their follow-up to the horror film Inside, which we were going to be covering Inside this season. It's quite interesting. Basically, it's about this Lucy who goes to be trained by an older lady, Mrs. Wilson, and she goes to this old mansion. After her first day, she basically comes back and tells her friends that there's gold and jewels to be found in this house, and they get locked into the house. And it has everything from psychotic, ghostly ballerinas who murder people to ghosts, and it's quite scary. But it's basically known as where Inside is a horror film based on fact. This is a horror film based on a grim fairy tale with all the gory bits in.
Oh, it sounds good.
And it's fantastic to watch visually. It's, but it's very gory and it's very, very good. And the whole film, it's like you're watching it and it feels like a bit like Suspiria, where Suspiria felt like a dream sequence. And this is like one gigantic, gory dream sequence. But the gore is very, very realistic gore. It's not like artistic gore, and it's very, very good. And the ending of it, I've watched this film 2 or 3 times now, and I've actually, it took me a while to understand the ending, but now I understand it. So I won't give.
Did it have a predecessor? Is this a sequel or is it a prequel? Or
no, it's a one-off.
Okay.
But they did a film called Inside, which we were going to cover in season 3, about a woman who's someone's knocked on her door they want to cut out her baby. That's
lovely.
Inside, which we are going to be covering. I think we covered it in April. So I really liked Inside, and so I thought, oh my God, this is Livid, and Livid's really hard to find on DVD because it didn't get a worldwide release very much.
You did say it was on Shudder, right?
It's on Shudder.
Of course, it's on Shudder, but it's hard to find anywhere else.
And when it was on Shudder, I watched it, and it was just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And the interesting thing is that they were going to do an English language remake of the film, which was written by David Burke, and was supposed to be directed by Nicholas McCarthy, but this was not made. So when this movie came out, the critics loved it, everyone loved it, but they didn't know how to market the film, so they didn't know how to market outside of France. But they said that everyone's going to love this film, so we're going to make an English version of this film, which never was made because...
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah, what is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them!
What?
Stay back, I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eyes.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
Get 20% off IKEA Sultan mattresses. IKEA, love your home.
impatiente comme j'aime. Je te présente Déborah Gessel.
C'est quoi cette merde? Who knows?
Yeah, it's not on in my Shudder, not over here.
So, but it does. I mean, it does. You can probably compare it to the works of Guillermo del Toro and Dario Argento. It's like if those two people had a baby, and then they made a movie. So,
Del Toro.
Del Toro. So,
he makes the good flicks, though.
Yeah, Del Toro's really good. Even though the only film I probably didn't like too much of his was Crimson Peak.
I couldn't. Yeah, I tried.
I thought it was one of those films that was beautiful to look at, but for me, it was just more visual over substance.
Yes.
And to me, it's got to have a decent script. Otherwise, I'm the kind of person who goes to an art museum and I walk through an art museum. Something might catch my eye. I might look at it for maybe a half a minute, but then I keep walking. So, because it needs to capture.
It's like going through the Louvre. I mean, the one thing I noticed out throughout the Louvre was like lots of beheadings and paintings.
Yeah.
Everything was beheaded. There's like St. John the Baptist's head was everywhere. Or the big Nike statue, it's on the stairwell and her head is gone. It's just like lots of beheading in the Louvre. I don't know why.
And then the one person who does have their head is about the size of an A4 piece of paper. Like, what is it? Mona Lisa. You expected like,
oh my God.
You say like, oh my God, is that it?
I know. That's what I said. I was like, that's the Mona Lisa. It's the size of a fucking postage stamp. And here I was like waiting for this monumental painting. I had no idea. It was a little itty bitty. It looked like a window in a ship, but it was square. I mean, I did not expect that at all.
Well, it's like the Natural Portrait Museum here. It's like you go through and it's like, oh, this is fantastic. Then by the time you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, it's like Jesus, Jesus, Jesus,
yeah,
Jesus, 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 John the Baptist, John the Baptist, John the Baptist, Jesus, John the Baptist, Virgin Mary, Virgin Mary, Virgin Mary. It's like over. At the end of it, it's like, okay, I've seen enough Jesus. I need to go now. I've seen enough religious imagery. Though it's very beautiful. I'm not saying anything about the artwork.
But
it's very beautiful.
It was all iconic back in the day. They just...
Yeah, you kind of wish there's like, oh, couldn't you just find something different to paint? Maybe some Greek gods or goddesses or something. So
it always kills me when you go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And I've seen it in movies since, so it's still there. But I haven't been in there in years. But they have an Egyptian temple that they moved all the way from Egypt, put it in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's just like, holy shit, man. Talk about people, grave robbing and whatnot, but okay.
If you go to the British Museum here, it's full of stuff that they've stolen from everywhere.
Oh God, yes. It's a vulgar display of that.
Yeah. I mean they got a whole Greek temple in there that they stolen.
I know. You see all the Greek frescoes and they got all the griffins and whatever from Phoenicia, and they've just totally sodomized antiquity.
They got the Pantheon. They got the whole outside of the Pantheon. So when you go to Greece into the Pantheon, you don't have like all the statues. It's gone because we have it in our museum.
Yeah.
Actually, what's quite interesting, this actually brings me to something totally off on Netflix. Watch Velvet Buzzsaw with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
It's about the art world and the modern art world, and it's got a dark, twisted. It's very dark and twisted, but it starts off quite frothy about these art people, and they're they're so full of shit.
Right.
It's not like that. And then basically the premise is that one of those people finds all this artwork, but this person said that he wanted it burned, and come to find out that all the paintings are possessed.
Oh, no shit. That sounds great. I have to watch that.
Really good. It's got Rene Russo in it, Jake Gyllenhaal, which I mentioned before. Toni Collette's in it. She's fantastic. Everyone in it's fantastic, and it's really good. It's about almost a 2-hour film, but it just goes by, and you kind of watch it.
When did they make it? Is it a recent film or?
It is it's a recent film, Netflix only. It's
an original. Okay.
One-off movie, and it's really good. It's a piss take of the art film, so there's stuff that isn't quite funny. Jake Gyllenhaal has his clothes off quite a bit, and he plays a camp guy in it.
Naked camp guy.
Naked camp guy, which takes his Brokeback Mountain one step further. But it's really good. It shows like how artificial everything is, but then it turns into John Malkovich is in it as well. So
can't go wrong with him in it because he plays such a good psycho.
He does a lot of these Netflix films, though. I mean,
I've noticed that
he's in what's that thing with Sandra Bullock in it?
Oh, not Oceans.
I want to say Bird Bath, but it's not.
Bird Box.
Bird Box. I want to say Bird Bath.
You know what? I watched Bird Bath myself.
Bird Box. I like Bird Box.
I liked it, but I was expecting some scary ass friggin' monster action.
I think it probably worked because I was watching this documentary on YouTube about it and what the monsters are supposed to look at, and I think it works better than the CGI monsters that they were going to use.
Right. So they did have CGI monsters.
Yeah, they did. They had them in there, and they look kind of stupid. And I think it's probably a good idea because for me, I mean, you could see what they were like when they had those black and white pictures on the coffee table, and you kind of got an image of it. But I think it's because to some they were beautiful and to some they were demons, and so therefore I think it would depend. So basically, you got to see them through the character's eyes, so you don't know what they were actually seeing. So I think it would work. For me, it worked.
Wasn't the other girl that was pregnant with Sandra Bullock in that movie? Didn't she play in that other movie? God, not Pumpkin, but shit.
You talking about this? Well, the sister is.
No.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, she played the big girl, and it was a great movie. She loved Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton, yeah, I think it's her.
What was that called? Shoot, no, I can't remember.
God, I love that film. I was talking about that film for ages.
I know, I really loved it too.
I want to say Honey Boo Boo, but it's not.
No, it wasn't.
That was good. That was on Netflix as well. What was it called?
Oh God, it's gonna come to me when I'm off the air. It's gonna drive me nuts.
The movie has
Sorry, people. You probably know what it is.
Yeah, the one with all the Dolly Parton music. Fantastic movie, really good.
It is. It was great. But she was in it. She played the other pregnant girl in Bird Box. Now we're gonna be saying Bird Bath.
I can watch Bird Bath. I literally love Bird Bath.
You're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Bird Box.
So. It was Bird Box, not Bird Bath, people.
Bird Cage. That's another movie I want to find.
Bird Cage, yeah, there you go.
Isn't that the one with Robbie Williams?
Honey! Was it Honey? No. It was something like that. Oh my God, now I gotta look it up.
I keep on saying Honey Boo Boo. What happened to Honey Boo Boo today?
Oh my God, she hated her nickname. This is driving me crazy. Oh my God.
Honey
I can't go till we find it out because these people are going to think we're assholes.
I know. I want to say Honey Monster.
No.
Sugar Pops.
And she won the guy in the end.
Yeah, what was the name of that film?
You're the one that told me to watch it.
I know, it's so good. Oh God, we're going to have to Wikipedia it.
I'm trying right now.
Look up Dolly Parton. If you look up Dolly Parton and look at the end of her credits, it'll come there.
Oh God, what's Dolly it called? Parton. I wish we had call-in people on this.
I know. People can tell us.
Well, I found lesbian movies on Netflix. Google. It was a one. It was a. She hated being called that. Her mother drove her nuts when she was called that.
Oh God, what is it called?
Oh my God, it was such a good movie too.
Acting breakthrough, continue rules, recent work.
She loved Dolly Parton. That's all I know. And she went in to be a beauty queen.
Oh, Netflix is doing a series about
Dumpling.
Dumpling, that's it.
Dumpling. Sorry, we wasted 10 minutes of your life that you never could get back because we were trying to figure out that freaking Netflix movie. Dumpling.
Yeah, not Honey Boo Boo the movie. It's Dumpling.
Oh my God. I need more coffee.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is before we go completely mad and we're on totally off our base of what the show's about, what we're going to do is let you go. So remember, you can join us on www.llpodcast.com and become a member, and make sure you sign up to our newsletter. So you get one monthly newsletter. We don't send out tons of newsletters, only one a month, and we'll let you know what we've been up to. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and any other of your favorite podcast apps. But of course, if you are listening to us, you probably listen to us from one of those places right now. Alternatively, you can follow us on our various social media, which is Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat,
Spotify, Podbean.
And you can follow us on those, and we're known as LL Podcast on those. Next month, we're going to be doing Helter Skelter, the book and the film, and we'll be covering that probably in depth, so probably a bit longer episode than normal.
That'll probably be a good one. I wouldn't miss this one.
That's really good.
Just because of me, John, and Keith.
Yes, and my friendship with Bobby Beausoleil. Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, and Keith lives in London, and we live on this side of the pond, so we don't want to piss off anybody.
Who knows? We might have a Manson family member or two on our show. You can never know. So, but if you didn't know that, just make sure you tune in to us on our next show. So that is good night from me and good night from Vickie. Say good night, Vickie.
Bye, everybody. Y'all have a great week.
Goodbye, all.